Hello students, this is my Unit 1 wrap-up video. I want to talk about some things I've seen this week to hopefully help you as you begin to attempt your assignment for Unit 2. So I have some notes written down, so if I'm looking down, that's what I'm doing, is refreshing my memory. So let's get started. All right, so please make sure you follow any templates provided. In the proposal, I had variations. Some of you took 5470 more than one term ago, so a couple of you were trying to submit the proposal from 5470, but that is no longer accepted. So just be sure in every assignment you follow any templates or guidelines, because the course has changed, and if you leave out things or insert additional information, inserting I can handle, but just make sure it's relevant to the study. But just again, be sure you're following any templates or guidance that you find in the assignment info modules. Okay, let's see. All right, so even though you're not writing papers per se, you still need to follow APA formatting rules. So most of you did not, and that's okay. I took off very few points because in the instructions it didn't say use APA formatting, but I was assuming that at this point you would follow those, like indenting the first line of a paragraph, using headings, particularly in your deliverable. Margins, should still be 1 inch on all sides. A difference of the template is that you were supposed to single space, and that's just purely for, so formatting of the paper, we wouldn't have 15 pages of your proposal. Write in first person. So a few of you wrote, the researcher will, or this teacher found, whatever. Just you always write in first person. So APA requires first person. UO people in the past has asked for third person, and my assumption on that was it sounds more formal, but it's not correct. So always write all your papers in first person. This is your research study. This is your project. So own it in first person. The other thing, don't talk about we need to, and our schools are. You can't speak for anybody but you. So don't use we, don't use those plural pronouns in just kind of a general sense. Also, you should be working on this project on your own. So I saw a couple of papers who said, we will review the data, whatever. It's just you reviewing any data or findings that you have. So just write in first person, singular, because again, this is your paper, your project. In these templates that you're provided, please remove the assignment information. So anything that's in parentheses, telling, kind of guiding you, erase all that. Use the headings, of course, but don't include assignment verbiage in what you submit. Okay. Let's see. Be sure you are using citations. Even in the proposal, I feel certain you would have had to refer to outside sources to justify what you're proposing. Otherwise, it's just opinion based, and we don't do that. Right? Researchers don't do that. We don't write academic papers based on my personal ideas. So be sure you're citing and then provide references. So even in the proposal, you need to provide references if you're going to, if you cite, which you should, provide a reference, because I, as the reader, need to check your sources to make sure that you're right. So you got to provide me a way to locate that source. Okay. let's see. Be sure to use formal voice. So I had some papers who said kids, I'm going to give this to my kids, blah, blah. So they're students. So, be sure you're not using what might be slang or just less formal. This is an academic paper. So be sure you're using formal speech and writing. Okay. Let's see. I think that was basically all I had. I do want to say that for those of you whose first language is not English, you're doing very well in communicating through writing in English. So I want you to be proud of that. That said, be sure you're using correct verb tenses as much as possible. I don't take off points when I think there's a translation issue. Academic writing, the language of academic writing is English. So if you want to publish, you have to be able to write in academic formal English. If you feel like you're just going to stay in your country where you speak, something other than English, I'm fine with that. I don't want you to limit yourself because there might come a time. By the way, if you can hear heavy breathing, I have rescued a dog who's in hospice, meaning she doesn't have long to live, and so she's got a lot of fluid on her heart, which we're giving her I'm giving her medication and hoping to make her comfortable. But I don't know if you can hear that or not. But that's what that heavy breathing is. She's really sweet. She's an Australian Shepherd, and somebody abandoned her in a field, and happily I found her. I saw it happening. So anyway, I was able to get her to the vet, and so that was Thursday afternoon. So just trying everything I can. But anyway, that's it. That's who's doing all that heavy breathing. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Even if you feel like you're waiting on feedback before you progress in your assignments, you can go ahead and do your research and all that. I don't normally, well, because you're so advanced in your writing, I didn't disapprove any proposals. So don't just sit and wait to hear from me. There are things that you can be doing so that you're not so crammed, waiting to start your next assignment. Okay, go ahead and do what you think you can do. And if you have to adjust, you can, but at least you got to start. All right. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for listening, and I hope this was helpful. As always, I'm happy to meet on Teams and talk one-on-one. We will have an office hours meeting this coming Saturday, the whatever date that is, 9+6, somewhere around the 15th or 16th, something like that. But I'll be sending out an invitation for that. But in the meantime, any questions you have, or if you want to meet on Teams, I'm always happy to do that. All right. Thanks for listening.